The power of simple acts. Imagine if something as simple as what you put in a glass could change your financial destiny. Yes, you heard that correctly. By combining ancient Buddhist wisdom with practical rituals, you can align your energy with prosperity. Join me as I unveil 5 extraordinary ingredients that carry transformative power. Each holds symbolic meaning and practical energy to help unlock the flow of abundance in your life. Which ingredient resonates with you the most? Watch until the end to discover how effortlessly you can apply these teachings. Don't forget to affirm, "Abundance flows into my life." Leave a comment to start attracting wealth today. Let's embark on this journey to prosperity. The nature of rituals in Buddhism. In Buddhist philosophy, rituals are far from superstition. They serve as profound tools to cultivate mindfulness, focus, and spiritual alignment. Through offerings, meditation, or symbolic acts, these practices bridge the gap between inner intentions and the universe's energy. They transform thoughts into actions, fostering both spiritual and material prosperity. The key to these rituals lies in intention. It's not the physical act, but the mindset behind it that channels transformative energy. When performed with sincerity, rituals become powerful manifestations of our desires, aligning us with the flow of the universe. Let us now explore the 5 sacred ingredients, diving into their symbolism and discovering the transformative power they hold in reshaping our lives. Cinnamon, the spice of abundance. Cinnamon has been revered for its unique vibrational frequency that attracts positive energy and wealth. Its warming, aromatic essence has made it a staple in rituals worldwide, symbolizing prosperity and vitality. Symbolism in Buddhism. In Buddhist tradition, cinnamon represents clarity and energy. Its presence in rituals is believed to clear stagnant energy, paving the way for new opportunities and abundance. The act of stirring cinnamon into water or tea becomes a mindful exercise, embodying the principle of clearing internal and external obstacles. Cinnamon also holds deep roots in the idea of impermanence and transformation. Its distinct aroma reminds practitioners of the fleeting nature of obstacles, emphasizing the importance of releasing negative attachments to make room for prosperity. Practical ritual. Add a pinch of cinnamon to your glass. As you stir it into your drink, visualize the aroma filling your surroundings and carrying your intentions into the universe. Picture debts being cleared, opportunities flowing, and prosperity growing effortlessly. As you perform this ritual, acknowledge your gratitude for the abundance already present in your life. An old story, The Potter's Turnaround. In the Jataka tales, there is a story of a potter who was on the brink of losing his livelihood. Inspired by the teachings of the Buddha, he began adding cinnamon to his daily prayers. He envisioned his humble pottery gaining recognition. His faith and consistent visualization bore fruit when a wealthy merchant discovered his work. This pivotal moment not only saved his craft but transformed his life entirely. The potter's journey underscores the principle of mindfulness combined with action. Each morning, as he stirred the cinnamon into his water, he also stirred his inner resolve. Over time, this ritual became a beacon of hope, reminding him to stay focused even in the face of doubt. His tale teaches us that sometimes the smallest gestures, when performed with clarity and intention, can lead to profound changes. A second story, The Merchant's Windfall. Another tale recounts a merchant who carried a pouch of cinnamon as a talisman for good fortune. During a long journey, he was stranded in a remote village. To repay the kindness of the villagers who offered him shelter, he shared his cinnamon during a communal meal. The villagers, unfamiliar with its aroma, associated it with wealth and gratitude. News of the merchant's generosity reached a local nobleman, who later offered him a lucrative trade deal. This story illustrates how simple acts infused with gratitude can spark unexpected abundance. Deep reflection. Cinnamon's vibrational role. Cinnamon's significance goes beyond mere symbolism. It connects to vibrational energy. Ancient Buddhist texts often refer to the importance of aromatic elements in uplifting the soul and mind. By consciously choosing cinnamon, you're inviting not just abundance, but the clarity required to sustain it. Reflecting on its earthy, warm aroma can serve as a moment of grounding and focus. Extended practice. Cinnamon's power lies in its consistency. Use it not only in your glass, but in your surroundings. Burn cinnamon incense during meditation to center your thoughts, or sprinkle a bit near doorways as a symbol of inviting opportunities. You can even incorporate cinnamon into cooking, using the act of preparation as a meditative practice to channel abundance into your daily life. To deepen your connection, combine cinnamon rituals with mindful affirmations like, "I welcome abundance with clarity and gratitude." By aligning thought, action, and intention, you amplify cinnamon's transformative energy. Rice, the seed of growth. Rice symbolizes fertility, growth, and nourishment across cultures. In Buddhist rituals, it represents the steady multiplication of wealth and the patience required to nurture prosperity. Symbolism in Buddhism. Rice holds a sacred status as it nourishes both body and spirit. In Buddhist offerings, it symbolizes gratitude and the interconnectedness of life. Each grain reminds us of the incremental steps necessary for success, echoing the teachings of gradual effort in the Noble Eightfold Path. Rice is also a metaphor for karmic seeds. Actions sown today grow into results tomorrow. Practitioners are encouraged to be mindful of the seeds they plant with their thoughts and deeds. Practical ritual. Take a handful of rice and place it in your glass. Visualize each grain as a seed of your financial goals. As you do this, recite affirmations such as, "I cultivate growth and prosperity." Imagine these grains multiplying into a bountiful harvest. A true story, the Lotus Pond of Prosperity. One Jataka tale speaks of a prince who created a lotus pond as a symbol of mindfulness and abundance. Initially barren, the pond transformed through careful tending and collective effort. The prince used this metaphor to teach his people that growth requires nurturing, not just of resources, but also of their collective intentions. Over time, the pond flourished, becoming a sanctuary for both the body and spirit. Travelers would gather at the pond, marveling at its beauty and feeling inspired to return to their own lives with renewed determination. The prince's wisdom echoes in our modern rituals with rice. Growth is a process, requiring consistent care and attention. A second story, the farmer's perseverance. A struggling farmer, facing drought and poor yields, turned to Buddhist teachings for guidance. He began a simple ritual of offering rice grains at a local shrine, visualizing his fields thriving. Though results were not immediate, his faith and consistent efforts eventually attracted unexpected rainfall and community support. His fields became bountiful, and he shared his harvest, deepening his spiritual and material wealth. Deep reflection, karma, and patience. In Buddhist philosophy, rice embodies the principle of patience. Just as a farmer cannot rush the growth of a crop, we cannot rush the fruition of our efforts. This reflective practice ties the simplicity of rice to profound teachings on karma. Actions planted today become the harvest of tomorrow. Practicing gratitude with rice reminds us of the steady path to abundance. Extended practice. Expand this practice by combining it with journaling. Write down your financial goals alongside each grain you place in the glass. Over time, revisit these goals and celebrate the milestones you've achieved. This creates a tangible connection between your intentions and their manifestations. Additionally, perform the rice ritual outdoors or near a natural body of water. Nature reinforces the symbolism of growth and flow, enhancing the energy of the practice. Gold leaf, the light of divine wealth. Gold has always symbolized purity, spiritual elevation, and material wealth. In Buddhist rituals, gold leaf is used to honor sacred statues, invoking blessings of health, prosperity, and enlightenment. Symbolism in Buddhism. Gold represents the ultimate clarity and truth in Buddhist philosophy. Its luminous quality signifies wisdom that cuts through ignorance, while its enduring value reflects the principles of impermanence and balance. In temples, gold leaf is meticulously applied to Buddha statues as an offering of gratitude. This act serves as a reminder that the giver's intention elevates the value of material wealth into spiritual abundance. Practical ritual. Place a small piece of gold leaf in your glass. As it shimmers in the water, reflect on the harmony between material wealth and spiritual fulfillment. Visualize the gold's radiance as a beacon attracting opportunities and divine guidance into your life. A legendary story, Anathapindika's gift. Anathapindika, a wealthy merchant, was known for his generosity toward the Buddha and his disciples. He used his wealth to build the Jetavana Monastery, a place of spiritual refuge. Despite his material prosperity, Anathapindika's true wealth lay in his unwavering faith and acts of kindness, which left a legacy of abundance for generations. A tale of transformation. Another lesser-known story involves a destitute widow who offered her last piece of gold jewelry to a Buddhist temple. This act of selfless giving, performed with sincerity, inspired the temple's community to support her. Through their generosity, she rebuilt her life, proving that even small offerings, given with an open heart, can bring immense returns. Extended practice. Pair the gold leaf ritual with acts of giving. Donate a portion of your income or time to a cause close to your heart. Just as Anathapindika's generosity strengthened his spiritual connection, your acts of kindness will reinforce the flow of abundance in your life. Clove, the protector of prosperity. Cloves, with their potent aroma and protective qualities, are revered in spiritual traditions for their ability to shield against negativity and promote focus. In Buddhist practices, they serve as powerful symbols of vigilance and purification. Symbolism in Buddhism. In Buddhist teachings, cloves represent resilience and mental clarity. Their strong and distinct scent is believed to clear away negative energies, allowing practitioners to maintain focus and clarity. This aligns with the Buddhist principle of guarding the mind against distractions that obstruct the path to enlightenment. Practical ritual. Drop a few cloves into your glass of water. As they sink, visualize them forming a protective barrier around your financial intentions. Picture this barrier shielding you from doubts, fears, or external negativity. Recite affirmations such as, "My path to prosperity is protected." The ritual becomes even more powerful when combined with a meditation on resilience and focus. A folk tale, The Monk's Shield. In a secluded monastery, a young monk was tasked with safeguarding sacred texts during a time of conflict. To protect both the texts and his own clarity of mind, he performed a ritual with cloves, meditating on their protective energy. Despite external turmoil, the monk remained focused, ensuring the safety of the sacred knowledge. His story teaches us that inner clarity and resilience are the ultimate shields against adversity. This story reminds us that protection isn't just about guarding material possessions, it's about preserving the clarity of purpose. A second story, The Merchant's Resilience. A merchant traveling through a treacherous mountain pass faced constant threats from bandits and harsh weather. Inspired by Buddhist teachings, she carried a pouch of cloves as a talisman. Each evening, she would place a clove in her tea, meditating on its energy. Her faith and ritual not only protected her physically, but also gave her the mental strength to navigate challenges. Upon reaching her destination, the merchant found that her focused mindset had also attracted favorable trade deals, furthering her prosperity. Her journey illustrates the dual role of cloves in safeguarding both tangible and intangible assets. Deep reflection: cloves' role in clearing doubts. Cloves' energy resonates with the Buddhist practice of clearing mental impurities. Just as they cleanse the space of negative energy, they also serve as a metaphor for cleansing the mind of self-doubt and limiting beliefs. When we allow negative thoughts to dominate, we weaken our connection to abundance. Cloves remind us to stay vigilant, guarding our aspirations from internal and external challenges. The sharp, invigorating scent of cloves acts as a wake-up call, encouraging mindfulness and active engagement in life's pursuits. It serves as a reminder that clarity of thought is a cornerstone of success. Cultural and historical significance. Cloves have long been prized in spiritual and cultural practices beyond Buddhism. In Indian Ayurvedic traditions, cloves are known to purify the air and balance energy. Similarly, in medieval Europe, they were burned in homes to ward off illness and negative spirits. These historical uses amplify their symbolic power as protectors, making them indispensable in rituals aimed at prosperity. Extended practice. Daily clove meditation. Begin each morning by placing a clove in water. Hold the glass in your hands, breathing deeply as the clove infuses its energy. Focus on your intentions for the day, imagining them shielded from negativity. Space cleansing. Place cloves in small bowls around your home or workspace. This practice not only purifies the energy of the space, but also serves as a physical reminder to stay grounded and focused on your goals. Travel ritual. Carry a few cloves in your pocket or bag when embarking on important journeys or ventures. Each time you touch them, reaffirm your protection and focus with an affirmation such as, "I travel through life protected and guided." Cleansing bath. Add cloves to your bath water, using the act of bathing as a symbolic cleansing of doubts and negative energy. As you immerse yourself, imagine the cloves fortifying your mind and intentions. The collective power of cloves. In a village near the Himalayas, a Buddhist community once united in a festival of protection and gratitude. Each family contributed cloves to a central altar, creating a communal ritual of abundance and security. This collective act amplified the energy of protection, fostering harmony and prosperity for the entire village. This story underscores the amplified power of shared intention. By incorporating cloves into your daily rituals, you are not only protecting your path to prosperity, but also aligning with the broader energies of resilience and clarity that are essential for achieving lasting success. Cloves' role in balancing energy. Life often presents us with challenges that test our resolve. Cloves, with their grounding energy, remind us of the importance of staying anchored in our intentions. They encourage a balanced approach, where focus is paired with adaptability. Just as a ship's anchor holds it steady against turbulent waters, cloves serve as a symbolic anchor for our aspirations. Through mindful practice, cloves teach us to navigate life's uncertainties with confidence and clarity. Their protective essence becomes a powerful ally, helping us overcome obstacles and maintain harmony in our pursuit of abundance. Honey, the sweetener of prosperity. Honey, with its golden hue and natural sweetness, has long been revered across cultures as a symbol of wealth, health, and spiritual harmony. In Buddhist teachings, honey represents balance, nourishment, and the smooth flow of prosperity into one's life. Symbolism in Buddhism. Honey holds deep spiritual significance in Buddhism, often symbolizing the sweetness of enlightenment and the rewards of mindful labor. Its golden color mirrors the brilliance of awakening, while its sticky consistency reminds practitioners of the interconnectedness of all things. Honey encourages us to savor life's simple joys while striving for greater harmony. In Buddhist parables, honey is frequently associated with compassion and abundance. The story of the monkey offering honey to the Buddha exemplifies this, portraying honey as both a literal and metaphorical gift of nourishment and gratitude. Practical ritual: add a spoonful of honey to a glass of water. Stir slowly, visualizing the sweetness dissolving any obstacles to your financial prosperity. As you stir, imagine the golden energy infusing your intentions with harmony and success. Recite affirmations such as, "Abundance flows effortlessly into my life." This ritual can also be paired with mindful breathing. With each inhale, imagine drawing in prosperity and harmony. With each exhale, release any lingering doubts or fears. The act of sipping the honey-infused water then becomes a celebration of gratitude and receptivity to life's abundance. An old story, The Monkey's Gift to the Buddha. A well-known tale from the Buddha's life illustrates honey's profound symbolic power. While meditating in the forest, the Buddha was approached by a monkey offering a comb of fresh honey. Recognizing the monkey's sincere gift, the Buddha accepted it graciously. This act of selflessness brought immense joy to the monkey, who danced with delight. The story emphasizes that even the simplest offerings, when given with sincerity, hold great spiritual and material value. Honey became a symbol of gratitude, abundance, and the interconnectedness of all beings. The monkey's act teaches us that sweetness in life often begins with selfless giving and heartfelt intentions. A second story, The Farmer's Resilience. In a small village, a farmer struggled with a series of poor harvests. Desperate for guidance, he turned to the local monastery, where a monk suggested a ritual involving honey. Each morning, the farmer added a drop of honey to his tea while visualizing harmony between his efforts and nature's cycles. Over time, the farmer noticed subtle changes. Not only did his crops improve, but his relationships with the community also flourished. His willingness to share his newfound abundance created a ripple effect, enhancing the village's prosperity. Honey's sweetness served as a daily reminder of the rewards of patience, mindfulness, and gratitude. Deep reflection: honey as a metaphor for gratitude. Honey teaches us to find sweetness in every step of our journey. It symbolizes the importance of appreciating life's small joys while striving for greater harmony. In Buddhist philosophy, honey reminds practitioners to balance effort with acceptance, savoring life's natural flow without forcing outcomes. This balance is a cornerstone of the middle way, a central tenet in Buddhism. Just as honey is neither too bitter nor overwhelmingly sweet, the middle way advocates a harmonious approach to life, free from extremes. Cultural and historical significance. Throughout history, honey has been revered as a sacred substance. In ancient Egypt, honey was offered to the gods as a symbol of eternal life. In Indian Ayurveda, honey is prized for its healing properties and is considered a carrier of positive energy. In Buddhist cultures, honey represents the fruits of mindful labor and shared prosperity, reinforcing its role in rituals aimed at attracting abundance. Honey's dual nature, as both nourishment and a precious offering,